Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Today, we are going to be breaking down a little bit of what happened last night in MLB. It was a very eventful night in DFS for a lot of us. A lot of things happen that's going to be affecting us when it comes to NBA. We've got started with some CFL stuff that's really going great there. And also, of course, we had a full MLB slate. 6 games that we had last night. Went pretty well. Another profitable night, man. It's been a pretty good week for me so far, man. I've enjoyed it a lot this week. Been hitting on a lot of batters. Doing very well. Shout out to the homie Paul Harless, man. Triple the buy-in with the Cubs and Braves stack. Yeah, man. Yo, Jaime killed me. I had so much Jaime. I was Jaime out. Jaime and Clevenger. And it turned out where Clevenger turned out to be a decent pitching prospect because pitching was just so bad last night. But we're going to talk about a little bit of that, talk about everything that we got going on here, man. First and foremost, guy hit me up in the messages, right? It was like, yo, why are you, or why are you showing like a $75 GPP takedown on Twitter, blah, blah, blah. And what you feel to realize, people, is it's not so much for me about how much money you win. I love to see a great score. And I take pride in the shop member that puts up a 207 on DraftKings in a quarter arcade and takes that bitch down and wins $75. I take just as much pride as that as I took in ACP going in and taking down a pressure putt and winning 100 grand. It's the score that I love. That means that I'm helping. That means that the shop is helping. That means that you come in here and you don't know a ton about MLB or whatever sport that we're playing and we're digging into, and you turn around and you take down a tournament and you are first. Whether it's a quarter arcade, whether it's a $444 buy-in, no matter what it is, if I love the score, if the score is great, and I know it's coming from a guy who is an honest, straight-up guy who is chopping up in the shop, bitch, I'm posting it. I'm posting it. It's not just about the money. It's not just about the money for me. It's not. It's about seeing people do well, man. And I love to see the logo on top. So just if your score is great, bitch, I'm posting it. Because I believe in you, and you believe in me, and we rock it. It's a family affair. That's how we get down in the sweatshop. Okay? Rant over. So let's go ahead and kind of take a look at what the Guru was able to do last night. Almost tripled my buy-in. I played just over $50. Ended up winning 144. Had some pretty decent lineups, and the beauty of this, man, if you are a part of the Line Drive at 5, you know what I'm talking about. When you see this lineup, you know what I'm talking about, and that's the beauty, because so many of us have access to what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So my best lineup was actually the highest buy-in, and that rarely happens where the lineup I have the most money on is the one that does the best. And what we saw here, this is the base hit, single entries, a $12 buy-in tournament. I finished 17th in this particular tournament and won $60. So I turned $12 into 60 in this tournament. And this is I had Mike Clevenger, Steven Matz, Contreras, Rizzo, Happ, Bryant, Russell, Nelly Cruz, who killed me with 4 points, Aaron Hicks, and Aaron Judge. And this lineup is going to look familiar to a lot of you in the shop. You know why. So in the same lineup, I had it entered in the four-seamer. I had it entered in I had it entered in another spot. So my next best lineup was another sort of a Chicago stack here with Clevenger, Moore, Contreras, Rizzo, Happ, Bryant, Segura, Bellinger, Nelson Cruz, and Aaron Judge. So I had some pretty decent showings tonight. A lot of great stuff. Very pleased about the buy-in. At one point, this lineup in the base hit single entry, I was in second, and another guy, one of the homies in the shop, was in first. So we were like taking this bitch down. And of course, man, the bottom kind of filled out in terms of not getting those solid productions from guys like Nelson Cruz, Aaron Hicks not really hitting well. Judge being so high owned and not really going off. So it was definitely a great sweat for me and a decent night. Glad we were able to at least triple up that buy-in. So let's go ahead, man, and jump right into it. As you know, the first class is strictly about pitching. The whole point of the first class is for us to really nail down our pitching prospects and jump into guys and find out who we really like. Because once we get our pitching down, then when the rosters come out, because we know there's not too much you can do if you don't know what the batting order is going to be. Because the batting orders are key. I don't care what anybody tells you. People are making shows right now and they're talking, oh, like this guy, like that guy, this guy, but you don't know shit. You don't like anything. You don't know until the actual batting orders come out. Because there's some spots where if it wasn't for the batting order, I wouldn't even be playing them cats. Like what we did in the early yesterday with the Chicago White Sox stack that we liked, as well as the Arizona Diamondbacks stack that went the fuck off. Like those were based solely on the batting orders and how much we like those. So if you want to really get in touch with that, man, yo, join us in the sweatshop, man. The takeover has already happened. It's already happened. And so if you want to join us in the sweatshop, you can go to www.dfssweatshop.com, sign up, get linked in, join us inside the best Facebook group online as it applies to DFS and just sports knowledge in general, man. My New York Knicks went out and drafted Frank Nicolina, kid from France. Looks pretty good. I'm cool with that. It's whatever. Being a Knicks fan is like a slow death march anyway. So whatever it is. So let's go ahead, man, and jump into today's slate. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up over here on DraftKings. That way we can use that to kind of correlate, okay, to make sure that I have the right pitching on DraftKings and or FanDuel, whatever, that's going to be on the slate. So we're going to open this up in the Classic. As you can see, we got 15 games starting at 705. We have a 4-game turbo at 735. Then a 3-game turbo at 810. Followed by 940 night games. It's going to be 5 of those, as well as the late night games. It's going to be 4 of those as well. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Open it up and take a look at the pitching, man, on the slate. Yo, you know what time it is. Paul Harnish, you already said it. Yo, the homie is there. Okay, the homie is there. You got Chris Archer at 12.5. You know how I feel about Chris Archer. Pour him on me, baby. You already know that. Okay, we got Steven Strasburg at 11.7, Alex Wood 9.6, Yu Darvish at 9.3, Jimmy Nelson, Michael Fulmer is in a spot I could kind of get behind. J.A. Happ is here. We've got Seth Lugo, Patrick Corbin in Arizona, Coarse Light. We got James Talion, who's had some very good starts lately, Joe Musgrove, Trevor Bauer, Masahiro Tanaka, Mike Folowitz, Rick Porcello, Alex Meyer against Boston. John Lackey, 6.5 against Miami. So we've got some really good pitching, man. It's going to be a good one. Galen Van Zant says, what up? Pulled another Houdini and won 400. Nice. 4 days in a row. Awesome. Yeah, that's my dude, man. Galen Van Zant, man. A dedicated member of the shop, man. Very solid cat. Very solid cat. So let's go ahead and pop it open. We're going to start with the first game on the slate. It's going to be the Texas Rangers and my New York Yankees. 10-mile-per-hour wind going out toward left field in Yankee Stadium. That means the weather is right in New York. It's too bad that we have 2 decent pitchers on the slate. Because if these were 2 bad pitchers here, I would be all over a game stack in the spot. In the Bronx, the Yankees here with a 13% chance of rain. The game is possible to delay or rain out. 80 degrees is going to be the temperature with 75% humidity here. 71 dew point. We got Yu Darvish and Masahiro Tanaka. Yu Darvish at 9.3 is not even like supremely discounted. Last time against Seattle, he was at 12K and ended up only getting 7.25. I'm not playing a pitcher against my Yankees in New York. I'm just not doing it, especially after what happened last night. They're going to explode again. It's going to be a solid showing for them at some point. I'm not going to test that tomorrow. Tanaka at 6.9, a guy that does give me a little cause for consideration, because I know that the Rangers are a team that, while they can go ham, they they actually have moved up pretty far down in terms of far up in terms of K rate over the last 14 days 25.7% K rate here. 214 ISO is scary with that 228 WOBA. So Tanaka is somebody that's on the verge of making my cut list, just because I think he could be in line for the win, but he's also a guy that we could attack in this spot, because we know that as a right-hander, he's going to be looking at a lot of those Texas lefty bats, and those guys have massive power, as we saw with the 214 ISO. So not set on Tanaka, but I cannot use Darvish at 9.3. The only thing that makes me kind of want to look at Tanaka is the price of 6.9, and it's very cheap. So we're going to open them up over the last few starts. 13, 25, 1.65, 0.15 against Baltimore, 37 against Oakland. The dude just has not been lights out. He's been very hit or miss. And, you know, if you miss over the plate against a Texas lefty power, they will make you pay. And I can guarantee you they're going to be moving some of those guys up to the top of the order to kind of get to Tanaka early. So that's going to give me a major cause for concern there. The next game we got is going to be the Cincinnati Reds and the Washington Nationals. Steven Strasburg is not Max Scherzer, and I always say that, and I just don't love Strasburg. I rarely love Strasburg. I think he's always overpriced. I don't think I'm ever going to get the game that I want to get from him. I did attack the San Diego Padres with him in that game they had at home against San Diego, because San Diego was just so bad. But, you know, I just don't see him, you know, paying off that 11.7. If I'm going to pay 11.7 for Strasburg in a bad matchup against Cincinnati, I might as well just go ahead and pay for the homie at home. Go ahead and pay up for Chris Archer at home. So Steven Strasburg, not a guy that I like. As a matter of fact, I think I can be on attack mode in terms of the Cincinnati Reds bats here. We're going to take a look and make sure these are the correct guys. Yes, Luis Castillo at 4.4. Don't want to play him against the Nationals in any way, shape, or form. I think I'm going to play some Nats bats against him to attack. We do have 14-mile-per-hour wind going out toward right field. Should make the stage set. Last time you said that about Strauss, he struck out 15. Nah. The last time he played well, I played him against San Diego, because there was San Diego. I played him, but look, 12K, 25, 11.4, 25, 12.7, 14, 12.2, 16. No, it's not. He's not worth it. He's not. And we look at what the Cincinnati Reds can do. Let's take a look at the Reds here. They're fairly disciplined at the plate. 11th in the league in K rate, 22.7%. A respectable ISO at 185. Also, the WOBA is down to 317, but that still doesn't mean that I'm going to pay up, you know, 11.7 against a scrappy team like the Cincinnati Reds. I think they can get to them. The next game we got the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim and the Boston Red Sox. We got Alex Meyer and Rick Porcello on the mound. 10.5 run total, 14-mile-per-hour wind going out toward that big green wall here. Alex Meyer at 6.6 is fairly interesting to me, just because we haven't seen the Boston Red Sox, you know, hit for power like we see them do over seasons past. And, you know, Meyer against Kansas City at home put up 33.7 fantasy points. That is very, very good. Very, very good. So Porcello in this spot at 6.7 is going to come at a major discount. In the last 5 starts, not good at all. -1, 4, 8, 12, and 15. But he does have the upside that you may want to take a look at. Now, this game, for me, is going to come down to, you know, it's going to come down to bats in this spot. Porcello sucks. How the hell does this guy win a Cy Young? Exactly. So we got a 10.5 run total. I think I'd be more inclined to play some bats in this spot and really not love the pitching as far from a Boston standpoint. If I'm going to play a pitcher here, it's going to be Alex Meyer. Next game we got is the Minnesota Twins and the Cleveland Indians. We got a 50% chance of heavy rain in this spot. This game could be avoidable here. Probable to delay or rain out. 89% humidity, 73 degrees, 10-mile-per-hour wind going out toward right field. 72 point. We got Alberto Mejia against Trevor Bauer. Both very attackable pitchers in this spot. Trevor Bauer just hangs curveballs over the plate, and guys can hit him. If this game does play, I am going to be interested in some of the Minnesota bats. Want nothing to do with Alberto Mejia in the spot. Let's make sure those are going to be the guys that are going to be on the mound. That's what we got. Next game is going to be the Chicago Cubs and the Miami Marlins. We've got John Lackey and Jose Urena on the mound here. A 9-run total. Urena 5.2 against the Cubs. I think the Cubs, man, sending your boy down, sending Schwarber down is really giving opportunity to a few of those Cubs bats that were itching to get in there, and I really think that was the difference that we saw with the Cubs yesterday, and I think it can continue, especially against Urena. Man, Urena is just not a guy that's gonna get completely blown up and lose you -10, -15 points, but at the same time he's not very great. Would have loved it more. Will like it more once I see the actual batting order come out where I can gauge it. Because if I've got guys like Hap inside batting cleanup, if I got him there, if I got some solid lefty-righty matchups here, if I got Rizzo leading off, I'm gonna like some of the Chicago bats. John Lackey here is very interesting. We've seen over the last couple of days, we've seen the Miami Marlins struggle some. Taking a look at where they sit in terms of K rate, still respectable here, 23rd in the league, 19.5% K rate. The ISO has been down 173, 342 WOBA. So the team can still hit, man. But attacking Lackey is going to be a lot of left-handed power for the Miami Marlins here if you want to go that direction. Next game we got is going to be the Baltimore Orioles and the Tampa Bay Rays. It's over. Just get it done. We got the homie Chris Archer. He's at the crib, 12.5. I'm paying for it. I'm going to play him. I like him in this spot. I think he has 10K upside immediately. You look at the Baltimore Orioles, man. They're a team that the power numbers have been up recently, but they are first in the league in terms of K rate. 26.2% K rate here. 179 ISO is respectable with a 316 WOBA. That I do not love that at all. That's bottom 5 in the league. Yo, give me some Archer. Pour him on me, baby. All right? And I'm going to talk about this too. Because if I'm telling you I'm paying up for pitching, then that means that I really love the pitcher that I'm paying up for. Because generally, I don't pay up for pitching. Don't do it. Especially on on a 15-game set like today. The only pitcher that I would pay up for on the slate is Archer. Anybody else, I'm not doing it. I'm paying down. I'm paying down. And I'm going to have, the bulk of my lineups are going to be lineups that you see I paid down for pitcher, but I will have some exposure to a guy like Chris Archer. Now, if they're not like bona fide ace status cats like Scherzer, it's a very short list of pitchers that you can pay up for. Scherzer, DeGrom, and this is in good matchups. They have to be in good matchups. Scherzer, DeGrom, Kershaw, sometimes Archer. A very short list of guys that you can pay up for. Okay, but I like Archer in this matchup for the simple fact that the Orioles are one of the worst teams in the league when it comes to swinging strike rate, and he's a guy that is supremely a strikeout pitcher. So I definitely think you can get behind Archer here, and I think there's going to be enough value to open up on the slate to where it would make sense to play him in some spots. I definitely think that, and while I'm saying that, you look at and Chris Sale as well. While I'm saying that, you take a look at the Baltimore bats here. Them cats can light it up too. So I'm not just saying lock in Chris Sale, and I would never tell you to go 100% anybody, because anybody can get hit. Anybody can get hit. Now we got Ubaldo Jimenez, I believe, on the other side, and yeah. Nobody can play Jimenez, man. He had a solid start last time against St. Louis, but nobody can play him, man. I love some of the left-handed power for the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm going to be using those guys, so there's going to be no Jimenez for me. Next game we got is going to be the Milwaukee Brewers and the Atlanta Braves. We got Jimmy Nelson and Mike Folnowitz. Nelson is at 8.5. Pretty decent starts in his last one. 43 against San Diego, 4, 18, 37, 33. So Jimmy Nelson's a guy that is squarely in play. I do not love to attack the Atlanta Braves at home. But with a guy like Jimmy Nelson at 8.5 and what he can do and what he's been showing lately, I not only have interest in him, but I have interest in Mike Folnowitz too, for the simple fact that I think this can be a pitcher's dual style game where we're going to see a lower run total here. So I like Folnowitz some, and I do like Jimmy Nelson. We'll be talking about those guys in the line drive at 5. Next game, we got the Oakland Athletics and the Chicago White Sox. I love the fact that I finally get the Oakland A's away from the O, man, because their home road splits are ridiculous. You can almost play anybody against them on the road. The shitty part about it is they got Mike Pelfrey coming up. They got Mike Pelfrey coming up. So I've got Jarrell Cotton and Mike Pelfrey over here on DraftKings. But yeah, okay, cool. So Jarrell Cotton is a guy that I'm definitely going to be attacking with some of the White Sox bats. Pelfrey is not good enough to exploit the Oakland home road split that we just talked about. So really can't get behind Pelfrey. Although I'm going to take a closer look at this in the line drive at 5. ACP was happening, big homie. Paul Harler says he loves Jarrell Cotton in the spot, and I can dig it, man. But I don't know, man. I mean, he's gonna see a ton of righties. Not big on lefty-righty matchups here, but it's just hard for me to attack the Chicago White Sox, especially at home, man. So next game we got the Toronto Blue Jays and the Kansas City Royals here. The Royals have kind of turned it around, man. They were a team that I picked on for a long time, but taking a look at where they're at, 14th, middle of the pack. Very respectable K rate over the last 14 days, 21.2%, 209 ISO with a 334 WOBA. So that's going to kind of take J.A. Happ off of the table for me. I think the Royals can play well against them at home in Kauffman Stadium. We've got a 0% chance of rain, 13-mile-per-hour wind going out toward right field, 76 degrees, and you've also got Jake Junis at 5.5 against the Toronto Blue Jays, a guy that I really don't want to use here. 721, -10, and 9 in his 4 starts this year. So the pitching in this spot is not going to be what I like. We got some pitchers. We have good pitchers in tough matchups. This is going to be a very good slate. Next game, we got the Pittsburgh Pirates and the St. Louis Cardinals. We got 14-mile-per-hour wind going out toward right field in Busch Stadium. 0% chance of rain. It's going to be partly cloudy. The humidity 53%. 79 degrees. You got James Taillon at 7.5 against Adam Wainwright, 6.3. James Taillon in his last couple of starts, 5, 21, 5, 17. I think this could be a pretty good spot for him. I kind of like Taillon here. I think he can get supported with runs and be there for the win. Also, Adam Wainwright does give me a little bit of interest, man. I'm taking a look at his last few starts. That -17 against Baltimore is huge. And I think nobody is going to want to play this guy, but I think he's going to want to come out and play well. So we're going to revisit him and take a look there. But I do like James Taillon if I had to pick a pitcher right now from that game. Next game we got is the Philadelphia Phillies and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yes, we finally get the Diamondbacks back at home after a pretty good run in Coarse, which is very similar to their home in Chase Field. So I think I can get behind a lot of the Arizona bats here. The Phillies are much worse on the road than they are at home. I think that puts Patrick Corbin in play for me at 7.6. Jake Thompson, no. I don't want to play Jake Thompson in this spot. Let's take a look and make sure he's in. Okay, I got Mark Leiter Jr. here for Philadelphia. Mark Leiter Jr. Philadelphia. Either way, I'm not playing a pitcher against the Arizona Diamondbacks at home. I'm not doing that. No. Let's make sure everything's connected. Got this going on. So, I had a little trouble linking back to yeah, that's just not a place that I want to go. It's very tough, in my estimation, to play a pitcher in pitcher against the Diamondbacks in Arizona, man. That's just not a place that I want to be. It's just not. It's just not. I can't get there. I just cannot get there. So let's go ahead. It's in the group. I'm having to go live in the group. And my apologies, YouTube fam. Yeah, it's going to be tough for me to play any of the Philadelphia pitcher or any pitcher for that matter against the Arizona Diamondbacks in this spot, man. It's going to be very tough for me to do that. The next game we've got is going to be the Colorado Rockies and the Los Angeles Dodgers here. This game is going to be in Los Angeles. We do not have Coarse on the slate, thank God. You got Kyle Freeland at 6.4 and Alex Wood at 9.6. Now, we did see the Dodgers struggle, so to speak, with left-handed pitching last night, which kind of opens the door for me for Kyle Freeland. Also, Alex Wood, man, has been killer in his few starts lately. 27, 17, 28, 23, 33, 35. So that's going to put him in play as well. We know that the Rockies do struggle away from Coarse. So those are two pitchers that I am going to be taking a look at. Also, we've got the Detroit Tigers and the San Diego Padres. Michael Fulmer, 8.3 against a team that strikes out a ton. Second in the league in K rate, 25.7%. The 190 ISO does kind of scare me, but a 332 WOBA as well. So I think Fulmer's going to be in play, man. Last time, didn't play very well. 9, -3, 14, 16, 16. I think you know, this is a nice bounce back spot for him. I really think it is. You got Perdomo at 5.6 against the Tigers. Normally, he's a guy that wouldn't be in play, man, but the Tigers have been struggling so much. We take a look at what they've been doing. 13th in the league in K rate, 21.7%, 157 ISO. That is down, 321 WOBA. It's either a get right spot for them or definitely. See, Fulmer can be that pivot play. You know, he's that guy on the slate that either you're playing him or you're attacking him. And if you do that with the San Diego Padres, you're gonna get those guys at not only low ownership but very cheap. So and don't let anybody tell you that ownership doesn't matter, man. Ownership does matter. It just shifts because usually, like on a smaller slate, 10 games or less, individual player ownerships matter. Any more games than that, you look at stack ownership because everybody is stacking. The cat is out of the bag. Everybody knows you got to stack your way to the top. That's how you get it. Next game we got is going to be the Houston Astros and the Seattle Mariners. We got Felix Hernandez at 5.9 and Joe Musgrove at 7.3. Let's go and make sure these are the correct pitchers that we have. Yes, they are. All right, so Felix Hernandez, 5.9. Not a player that I'm particularly interested in. Joe Musgrove, 7.3. Another guy that I'm really not interested in. This could be a game stack. We've got a 9.5 run total here. Both of these teams are fairly hot right now. Been hitting fairly well. We may not have George Springer. He got hit with a pitch yesterday and had to leave the game, so we may not have him. So you could see some a cheapie go up the top of the Houston Astros order. So that's going to be a lineup to watch out for as well. The last game on the slate is going to be the New York Mets and the San Francisco Giants. You got Seth Lugo at 7.7 and Ty Blott at 5.7. Seth Lugo is a guy that I think I can get behind anytime. You know, AT&T Park is on the slate. It definitely draws my attention to pitching because I know it's one of the toughest parks for pitchers, man. The ball, I mean for hitters, the ball just won't leave the yard there like that, right? So I'm going to take a look at Seth Lugo here. I kind of like him in this spot. The Mets hit a lot better on the road than they do at home. So that's definitely a team that I'm going to be looking at. And as well, Ty Block can be in play as well because, the Mets struggle against lefties, and Block at 5.7 is the guy that I do have interest in. So we've gone over the pitching. I'm going to pull it up once more just so you can see it. So you know that the pitchers that we are interested in, starting out at the top, we've got Chris Archer, Alex Wood. In the mid-grade, we've got Jimmy Nelson here, Michael Fulmer, Seth Lugo, Patrick Corbin, and James Talion. And for the cheap, we've got Mike Folnowitz and Kyle Freeland. Also, Ty Block are going to be guys that we're going to have interest in. So this, of course, has been your DFS Jerusalem. You can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Thanking you for everything you do for me, being a part of the shop. Thank you so much. Go and follow me on Twitter if you're not. If you want to be a part of what we do in the line drive at 5 and get to the money, get some of those winnings, go hit the website www.dfsweatshop.com. Thank you so much. It's been real, it's been great. But check me out on line drive at 5. If you are playing on FanDuel, keep it 250. If you're on DraftKings, keep it 200. And if you are a member of the Sweatshop, always keep it 300. Peace.